Luan hỏi tao. Chuyện này thấy hết hai người nè.
Sức cho anh nghe cái mé là được rồi. Thì được rồi, chị nói gì mà không sao đâu. Được, không sao. Nữa là em đứng sát từ khi mà
Đúng rồi, phim về nhà quay phỏng vấn làm của họ không cần nộp CV luôn.
nó nghiêng xuống mà.
Cần nộp CV không con? Để không cần đúng không?
Có cho bạn. Có bản điểm nữa.
Giờ lấy không?
Tôi copy cái là chờ online. Chỗ cái chờ online sẽ bị lưu
Để bây giờ có được bài kỳ update mới nhất là có được bài.
Nhưng mà chụp online thì chụp trên cái nào? Điểm tích lũy á. Hurry up, hurry up.
Photoshop rồi đó.
Đúng rồi. Photoshop đi.
Về chấm là Photoshop. Cuối kỳ được mấy cái gì kéo lên trên bệnh 7 rồi, 7 rưỡi luôn.
Đúng rồi, mình đừng có đụng cái bàn.
Đây quay phim đó nha.
Chưa quay luôn chị.
Chưa quay nữa.
Quay rồi, quay nãy giờ.
Quay rồi hả?
Ủa, máy đâu?
Đó.
Em.
Fine. So after Cong have presented to us about the process or the definitions of how creativity strategy should be conducted, now I will show you another step of when marketing strategy should be conducted in the real field, and I will present to you about the advertising appeals.
Wait a minute. So you're talking about the advertising appeal. So how many times exactly is that advertising? I wonder.
Okay, so advertising appeals is an approach used to attract the attention of the consumer to the product or the service that the business provided to the market. And you guys can imagine that there are hundreds of advertising out there in the realities, but in this case we can gather it into two main definitions, that is informationals and emotionals. In the informationals appeals, we will focus on the consumer practical functions and utilitarian needs. That means marketer will focus on the information of the product, the benefits of the products mainly. They emphasize the features or the reason for owning the product in using a particular brand. I can let's be specific on this kinds of appeals. The content of this message will emphasize the facts, the learning, and the logic of persuasions. There are several types of informational appeals. I can list here, that is competitive advantage, the fair price, product, service popularities, or the feature appeals. But in the recent time, I will present to you the two most popular method that every advertising agency is using, the competitive advantage appeals. So in this appeal, marketer will direct or indirect comparison to another brand. They will claim that their products have some unique benefits that different from the other products. You can see here's the example of Omo. They compare with a very normal detergents. You can see the comparison between this, and Omo has the most unique benefits for your clothes, and they can be more clean. And another example of competitive advantage, that is Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They always fight against each other in the advertising market. And another appeals that is used wisely and used properly is the product or service popularity. In this appeal, the marketer or the advertising agency, they will emphasize the numbers of consumers who use the brand in order to gain the consumer trust, because the number of consumer use the product is very huge. That is a huge amount of people. So when the consumer watch the TVC or the advertising, they will gain a lot of trust and confidence to buy it. For example, Grow Plus is baby milk powders, but they claim that this is the #1 product that is like that gain the belief of the Vietnamese mom, the most belief of the Vietnamese mom. So that is all about the informational appeals. And what is emotional appeals? They will relate it to the customer social or psychological needs for purchasing a product or service. Studies have shown that emotional advertising they will make consumer to remember the product longer than the informational appeals. Here you can see that this is the product of the company, but they use the image of the cute animal in order to attach with the consumer emotions. That is, they are very empathized, or they are very they love the animal, so so they can attach with the customer characteristic, because every individual have their own unique characteristics. So marketer sees this market or this kind of advertising is a magnificent treasure to invest in. Another example, that is, they will use the emotions of surprise or the emotions of afraid. If you stop like climate change before it changes you, it's very very impressive. And this is one of the advertising technique that the recent advertising agency is focused on. That is, they will combine two of these appeal, the rational and emotional appeals, because marketers, they think that consumer, they will purchase they will purchase and they will make decisions based on both emotional and functional benefits. Why marketer figure out that? Here you can see this is the relationship with relationship of the customer and the brand pyramid. If any brand they come up into this level, it means that the level of convictions, that it means the brand have to show the customer some unique benefit that can satisfy their own needs. So because the consumer become smarter, they have a lot of sources to find new information, and they have more powerful than before. So they more personalized, and that leads to the needs become more specific and individualized. I will show you the advertise of the Milo TVC in the most recent. You can see that the comparison, the combine of informational and emotional appeals.
Chào buổi sáng.
Why? Hello. Hello.
Is the look at phone?
Hello. Okay, so let's watch it.
Chào sách vở. Chào mẹ. Bữa sáng là thế hả? Wow. Chào
So you can see in this advertising, they will if you pay attention enough in this advertising, you can see that you can see the informational appeals. That is, the Milo products have rice or groceries, and they have very nutritious ingredients. Okay, they have very the ingredient is very good for the children's health, and moreover the emotional factors in this advertising, that is, they will focus on the energetic and the dynamic of the children. So that is the combination of rational and emotional appeal. So you have know how the message or how the ideas can be delivered through advertising appeals. But what is the techniques of this? Is there any platform for the advertising to be delivered out there for the consumer to see it? So I have come up with the two types of techniques. First of all, the above the line, or the secondly is the below the line. The above the line here is you will focus on the mass media. The main missions of this above the line technique is you to raise the awareness about the product, and you will, this technique will reach a large number of audience. You can, such as here is the print ad, in the above the line technique of the FedEx, or even the out-of-home platform for the digital in the center of the cities, or even the bus route. It's about above the line because the advertising is delivered through many people. Okay, and about the below the line, it's maybe directed control over the target audience, and it will interact and focus on the experience, mainly the experience to the customer. Therefore, it will reach a limited numbers of audience, such as the activation day for every consumer to try, or even the sampling product in supermarket. Here, those are the advertising technique. But how to apply this technique efficiently? This is the funnel of the awareness, considerations, preference, and purchase. If your marketing strategy is to raise the awareness or the considerations, you should apply the above the line techniques. If your brand is well known and they are and the customer is already used or already known about your products, you should use the below the line in order to gain more experience for the customer. That is the implications of how advertising techniques is used. And thank you for listening to our presentation.